What's up guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool related news video. And in this video we will talk about Gary Neville saying that Liverpool should deliberately go out of the Champions League so they can concentrate on the Premier League and winning their first Premier League title, their first title in 29 years. This is outrageous from Gary Neville, in my opinion. To suggest that Liverpool should throw a game, as big a game as a Bayern Munich-Liverpool game in the Champions League, is ludicrous in my opinion, but I would love to hear your opinion. So leave a comment right now. What do you think? Of course, if somebody said it's guaranteed that if Liverpool go out of the Champions League, we win the Premier League title, I would say I would take that, but there is no such thing in football. There is no guarantee that Liverpool, with a cleaner run of fixtures, will win the Premier League title, because we are up against probably the best Premier League side of all time, and certainly the most expensive Premier League side of all time, Manchester City, who collected 100 points last season. That's what Liverpool are up against. £1.5 billion spent on players. That's what Liverpool are up against, and we are still just 1 point behind that Man City team. I think that speaks volumes about how well Liverpool have done this season. And remember, last season we finished on 75 points after 38 games, and this season we are already on 73 points. So that just shows what a massive improvement Liverpool have done. So let's first read Gary Neville's comments, and then I will share my thoughts with you guys. So he said, getting points on the board is a big advantage. I always thought that if Liverpool could win the league this season, then they would need a clean fixture list. And just my comment, Liverpool already have a cleaner fixture list because we went out early in the FA Cup. Manchester City still have the FA Cup games to contend with. And also Gary Neville said this, listen to this guys, and I quote, I'm going to say it, go out against Bayern Munich. That sounds like madness. Of course, you would never play to lose a game, but it will be in Liverpool's favour if they have a clean run, as they can get everyone fresh. City have got a couple of FA Cup games where Liverpool could go 5 or 6 points in front. That's tough to pull back in the closing weeks. While City have some big games coming up, including the Manchester derby and the hosting of Tottenham, Liverpool have some remaining obstacles of their own. And we are going to play Tottenham as well at home, and also Chelsea at home, and potentially a Champions League quarter-final double leg. But I honestly, I think something is seriously wrong if Liverpool, with this squad, cannot compete on just two fronts in March, April and May. Because Liverpool have the squad to compete in the Champions League and in the Premier League. Our biggest problem, I think, is we don't have a striker or an attacker who is as good as Mane, Salah or Firmino. So when we play Origi or Sturridge or Lallana or even Shaqiri, they are a level below our regular front three. But thankfully, so far, we have been lucky with injuries. None of the front three have had an extended layoff. And I think this is ridiculous, because to suggest that Liverpool should throw the Champions League away, like as if that would guarantee winning the Premier League. Because just listen to this. If Liverpool, let's say we throw the Champions League away, and then we don't win the Premier League, then what? Then we will end up with absolutely nothing, absolutely zero trophies to show for our name. And then, you know, Manchester City could go on to win the Premier League and potentially maybe even the FA Cup or the Champions League as well. I don't think they will win the quadruple, but that's just my opinion. I think what Liverpool should do is try everything to get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and who knows, we might get Ajax, we might get Porto. I'm not saying that will be an easy game or an easy round, but I'm saying that if Liverpool get Ajax, or if Liverpool get Porto, or even if we get Manchester United in the quarterfinals, we would have a very good chance of going to the semi-finals. And you know that when you get to the semi-final of the competition, then you are very, very close to winning it. If Liverpool can't win the Premier League, I want us to try to win the Champions League. And of course, it will be tough. No saying that, of course, it will be tough to try to win the Premier League and the Champions League titles at the same time. But honestly, that's what Liverpool should be aiming for. This club, Liverpool Football Club, is about trophies, is about winning. And if Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool want to get the glory days back to Anfield, then we have to be of this winning mentality that we want to win everything. I don't think Liverpool have the squad right now to go for all the trophies. That's why probably we went out early in the League Cup and in the FA Cup, because we just didn't compete, didn't have the squad to compete on all four fronts, not on like Manchester City have. They have two world-class players in every position. Liverpool don't, but Liverpool still have a squad good enough to compete for the Champions League and the Premier League at the same time, in my opinion. And also, if we win against Bayern, that would give a massive confidence boost to the whole team, to the whole club, to the manager, to the players. And just imagine if we went out to Bayern, of course that would have a reverse effect. That would have a very bad effect on the Liverpool players. Probably our confidence will go down a little bit. And there is no correlation between, you know, not being in the Champions League quarterfinals or semi-finals and winning the Premier League. Because listen to this, in the past few seasons, you know, like Man City went to the quarterfinals last season and they won the Premier League. Chelsea and Leicester, the 2 seasons before that, they weren't even in the European competitions. But that's not why they won the title, in my opinion. Both Chelsea and Leicester had very, very good teams and very good runs in those seasons. And then the previous 3 years, Chelsea, Manchester City and Man United won the title while getting to the last 16 of the Champions League. So you could argue that, you know, if you look at just the last 6 seasons, no team has went further than the quarterfinals and won the Premier League title. But I think that's a very small sample size, and you can't really say that if you go to the semi-finals of the Champions League, you won't win the Premier League title. I don't think that's how it works. And Liverpool have the squad, in my opinion, to compete for both trophies, because we still have, you know, Shaqiri, we still have Naby Keita in reserve. And then Lallana had a very good performance against Burnley, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is very close to coming back. Also, Dejan Lovren, Joe Gomez are back in full training, so they are also close to coming back. So Liverpool now have almost a fully fit squad to choose from, and we really should go for the Champions League and the Premier League, because if Liverpool can't compete on 2 fronts at the end of the season, then what was the point of beefing up the squad? What was the point of you know, getting so many good players in, signing so many good players in the summer? Martin Keown had some very interesting things to say about Liverpool's title challenge, and he said that their defense, Liverpool's defense, led by Virgil van Dijk, deserve to be champions. It is their forwards who are sometimes letting them down. When your team are solid at the back but misfiring up front, as a defender you are filled with despair. He is referring to games like the Man United game, the Everton game, maybe the Leicester game or the West Ham game, where we didn't play very well up front, we didn't take our chances. And also Martin Keown said if Liverpool do not win the Premier League, they will look back on the Everton-Liverpool game as the day they blew it. I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think away at Everton in a very hostile atmosphere, it's a good point. I think where potentially Liverpool may lose the Premier League title is that we failed to beat teams like West Ham, teams like Leicester, but we had a very, very bad injury crisis at that moment, so I can't really blame this team. Like, just remember that this Liverpool team is still the best Liverpool team in the Liverpool history books in terms of our points per game and our win percentage. This is the best ever Liverpool performance in Liverpool's entire history, including the 18 times that Liverpool have been league champions previously. So it's absolutely incredible what Liverpool have done. It's just such a shame that we are up against one of the best teams the Premier League has ever seen in Manchester City, and both teams could end up on 93, 94, 95 points, and it could be the first that a team with 90 or more points doesn't win the title. But let's bring it on, and let's hope that it will be Liverpool. I don't think Manchester City will win all their games, because the fixture pile-up for Manchester City, it will be brutal. But if there is a squad that can cope with that fixture pile-up, that is Manchester City. Also, Jose Mourinho has advised Jurgen Klopp to be honest with his Liverpool players, and he said Jurgen Klopp is very supportive. He's going to make them believe what we also believe, that the Premier League title race is open. It is not closed. Man City are not champions, but it's not about trying to make them believe that. It's about trying to prepare them. Mourinho makes some very interesting comments here. I think the best way to prepare sometimes is to be really honest. It's not to try sometimes to sell dreams. It's to say we are not in our best moment. They are not in their best moment. Salah would score those opportunities. But the personality of the manager is very important. I don't know Jurgen personally well enough, like I know some other managers, but it looks from the outside that he's a positive person. And by being honest, maybe they can think about, I don't want to say their bad qualities, but the little details that are not going very well, and try to focus on that and go for it. I think it was just Man United and Everton setting up to really just to defend. And when we played against Watford, against Bournemouth, and against Burnley, we were scintillating. We scored a bucket load of goals against those sides. And Liverpool will come up against mostly these kind of teams. And against Tottenham and against Chelsea, I'm a lot more optimistic, because those games are at Anfield. And at Anfield, we have been outstanding for like 95% of this season. And if Manchester City win all their games from now until the end of the season, fair play to Manchester City, then we can't really complain about not winning the title, because Liverpool, you know, with 93, 94 points, not winning the title, it would be devastating. But if Man City get to 95 points, what can we do? Let's just go again next season. And what I'm really positive about is that this is not a one-off. In the last two title challenges, in 2008, 2009 and 2013-14, it felt like a one-off. It didn't feel like that the title challenge will come again the next season, and the season after that, and the season after that. This time it's different. This time we are up there on merit. We are there because we are good enough, because we are strong enough. And with even better and more signings in the summer, we can get even better than this. And Liverpool should really challenge for the Premier League title every season, at least for the next 2 or 3 seasons. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what we should be aiming for. So yeah, let me know what do you think about this in the comments below, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Goodbye.